A black screen. Silence. Then, 3 lines of text fade in, one at a time. July 1st, 2025. Something entered our solar system. October 2025. NASA goes silent for 43 days. November 19th. The truth is finally revealed. For over 6 weeks, NASA said absolutely nothing about a mysterious object speeding toward our solar system at more than 153,000 miles per hour. And in that silence, the internet exploded. Was this an alien ship? Was the government hiding something? Elon Musk started tweeting cryptic questions. Kim Kardashian posted on Instagram, demanding NASA spill the tea. A Harvard professor published a paper suggesting that this thing might be hostile alien technology. People were ready for first contact. Then, on November 19th, NASA finally broke the silence. And what did they say? No, it's not aliens. But somehow, the truth might be even more incredible. This object, named 3I Atlas, is not a spacecraft. It's not broadcasting signals. And it's not trying to communicate. But what it does carry could change everything we thought we knew about life in the universe. Because the real story isn't about visitors coming to Earth. It's about what's been drifting out there, silently, for billions of years. And now, it's arrived. July 1st, 2025. At a remote observatory high in the mountains of Chile, the Atlas telescope, part of NASA's Planetary Defense Network, spotted a faint object moving in the wrong direction. Within hours, astronomers realized this wasn't just any space rock. It was moving too fast. Its trajectory was hyperbolic. That meant one thing: it wasn't from here. Unlike comets that loop around the sun, this object wasn't orbiting anything. It was just passing through. This was only the 3rd time in human history that we detected something entering our solar system from deep interstellar space. The first was Oumuamua, back in 2017, a bizarre, cigar-shaped object that moved in ways scientists still argue about. Harvard's Avi Loeb even wrote an entire book suggesting it could have been alien tech. The second was 2I/Borisov, discovered in 2019, a comet that looked and behaved just like the ones we know, but came from somewhere else. But this third visitor, 3I Atlas, was different. Different enough that NASA didn't just take notice. They mobilized. Within days, more than 20 spacecraft, from Mars orbiters to deep space probes, were tasked to track it. Why? Because this wasn't just a rock. This was a traveler from the deep past. Imagine it, a frozen object drifting alone through the dark, between stars, for millions, maybe billions, of years. When it began its journey, Earth might not have existed yet. Dinosaurs weren't even a concept. And now, for just a blink in cosmic time, it was passing through our neighborhood. A time capsule from a star system long gone. And inside it? Clues. Clues about how planets form. How chemistry evolves. Maybe, how life begins. But before any of that could be confirmed, a debate started to unfold. On one side, Professor Avi Loeb and his team published a paper suggesting 3I Atlas might be artificial, some form of ancient alien technology. On the other hand, NASA responded with caution. Let the science speak. And then, just like that, silence. NASA went dark. 43 days. No press releases. No updates. And in that vacuum, the wild theories took off. Alien ship? Secret cover-up? But when NASA finally spoke up on November 19th, they shared something even more surprising than anyone expected. What happened next had never been done before. NASA launched the largest space tracking operation in its history, all focused on one small object. The James Webb Space Telescope, a $10 billion marvel designed to peer across the edge of the universe, rescheduled its deep space targets. For weeks, Webb aimed its ultra-sensitive mirrors not at galaxies, but at a comet. The Hubble Space Telescope, nearly 35 years old, turned its lens toward 3I Atlas from 277 million miles away. Closer to home, 2 spacecraft orbiting Mars, MAVEN and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, had a perfect view as the object passed just 19 million miles from the red planet. NASA's Lucy mission, still en route to Jupiter's Trojan asteroids, captured images from the opposite side of the solar system. Even SOHO, a decades-old solar observatory that few expected to be useful, caught a glimpse. It was faint, but it was there. Tom Stadler, NASA's lead scientist for small bodies, summed it up perfectly. Everyone had a camera. Everyone was trying to get the shot. But nobody had the full picture. He put it like this: everybody has a camera, and they're trying to get a picture of the ball. Nobody has the perfect view, and everybody has a different camera. So why all the urgency? Because 3I Atlas would only pass through once. On October 30th, it reached perihelion, its closest point to the Sun, about 130 million miles out, just beyond Mars's orbit. That moment was critical. The heat would trigger sublimation, vaporizing ice and releasing gas and dust, creating a coma and tail. That's when the object would be most active and most revealing. After that, it would be gone. By December 19th, it would be 170 million miles from Earth. By spring, it would pass Jupiter and vanish into the cold black. Forever. This was a one-shot opportunity. And with that kind of window, you don't miss. So they watched, measured, waited. 43 days of silence. Bit by bit, NASA's data teams downloaded terabytes of spectral readings. Thousands of images. And when the scientists began to put the pieces together, they found something no one had expected. No, it wasn't aliens. But maybe, just maybe, it was something even bigger. Something that could help answer one of the oldest questions we've ever asked. Where did we come from? November 19th, 2025. After 43 days of total silence, NASA finally stepped up to the mic. Acting Administrator Amit Kshatriya didn't waste a second. He looked straight at the cameras and said it plainly. This object is a comet. It looks and behaves like a comet, and all evidence points to it being a comet. And then, Nikki Fox, NASA's Associate Administrator for Science, drove the point home. None of NASA's observations show any technosignatures or anything that would lead us to believe it was anything other than a comet. Case closed, right? Kim Kardashian probably moved on. Elon Musk? Maybe he stopped tweeting about aliens, for now. Avi Loeb? Well, he still disagrees. But NASA was crystal clear. This was a natural object. Not a ship. Not a signal. Not a message. Just a comet. And yet, that might be the most exciting part. Because this comet, 3I Atlas, wasn't like anything we'd ever seen. Webb's data told a different kind of story. A story written in molecules, not metal. The chemical signature was strange. Most comets in our solar system are water-rich, with carbon dioxide playing a minor role. But not 3I Atlas. This one was loaded with carbon dioxide. Dominated by it. That's not what we expected. And it raised a question. Where could a comet like this even come from? The answer, a much older star system. One with different radiation levels, different chemistry, and a completely different history of ice formation. And that wasn't the only surprise. Inside its gas tail, scientists detected nickel. A lot of it. Far more than what we normally see in comets. No, nickel isn't a sign of life, but it is a clue. A fingerprint from the environment where this object formed. Possibly near a supernova. Or in a star system with unique metallic enrichment. Tom Stadler, NASA's lead scientist on small bodies, put it this way. It gives me goosebumps to think about. It is a new window into the makeups and histories of other solar systems. And that's when the scale of this moment really started to hit. Based on its speed, trajectory, and unusual chemistry, scientists now believe 3I Atlas likely formed long before our solar system even existed. Before Earth. Before life here ever began. Before the sun itself was born. This object is ancient. Truly ancient. A cosmic messenger from a time and place that no longer exists. And even though it's not alive, even though it's not aliens, what it is makes it one of the most important discoveries of the decade. So what did we actually see? Let's take a quick tour of the images, real data, captured from all across the solar system. First up, Hubble, July 21, 2025. This was one of the earliest views. If you look closely, you'll notice a soft, teardrop shape surrounding the center. That's the coma, a cloud of gas and dust forming around the icy core. At this point, 3I Atlas was still far from the Sun, about 277 million miles out. The tail hadn't really formed yet. It was quiet, dormant, sleeping. Now fast forward to October 2nd. From Mars, the HiRISE camera aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, our highest resolution camera beyond Earth, snapped this image from just 19 million miles away. The coma was much clearer now. Brighter, more active. The comet was waking up. Just a week later, on October 9th, came one of the most important images. Captured by the MAVEN spacecraft using ultraviolet light, this image revealed something incredible. At the center, we see the nucleus. But surrounding it? A glowing halo of hydrogen atoms. Why does that matter? Because it's proof. Proof that sunlight was heating the comet's ice, causing water to sublimate, turn directly from ice into vapor, and then break apart into oxygen and hydrogen. A completely natural process, but one that looked absolutely stunning through MAVEN's ultraviolet lens. Next, the Lucy spacecraft. On September 16th, while traveling toward Jupiter's Trojan asteroids, Lucy caught 3I Atlas from the opposite side of the solar system. From that angle, you can see the tail stretching off to the right, a stream of dust and gas blown away by the solar wind. That perspective helped scientists model the tail's full three-dimensional shape. And finally, the Stereo spacecraft. Between September 11th and the 25th, Stereo captured a time-lapse series, which was later stacked into a composite. The result? A beautiful sequence of the comet moving across a star field. The color in this image was added afterward, just to make the object easier to see. But the motion? That's real. Now, let's talk about the color controversy. You've probably seen the viral posts online. People claim that 3I Atlas changed color as it approached the Sun from red to blue. Some even suggested that it was evidence of alien tech. Elon Musk brought it up on a podcast. But here's the truth. Qiqing Zhang, an astronomer at Lowell Observatory who actually analyzed the data, confirmed. There is no evidence of the gas coma changing color. What really happened? As the comet brightened and became more active, its spectral data got clearer. We could finally measure its light with precision. And it turns out, 3I Atlas was always bluer than the Sun. We just couldn't tell until it got bright enough. This is your reminder. In science, what looks mysterious often has a simple explanation. And sometimes, that explanation is still absolutely amazing. Alright, time to geek out a little. Here's what we actually learned from 3I Atlas. First, its composition. Most comets in our solar system have a lot of water ice, with smaller amounts of carbon dioxide. But 3I Atlas? It flips the script. This comet is dominated by carbon dioxide, far more than we usually see. That's not normal. It suggests that 3I Atlas formed in a very different kind of environment. Maybe closer to a hotter, more radiation-heavy star. Or deep inside a molecular cloud with a chemical makeup unlike anything near our Sun. Second, metal content. Spectral data showed high concentrations of nickel compared to iron. That's rare for comets. And it's important. Nickel doesn't just show up for no reason. This kind of heavy metal signature suggests that 3I Atlas might have formed near a supernova remnant, or in a star system where metals were distributed differently than in ours. Third, preservation. Webb's infrared instruments detected complex carbon-rich compounds embedded deep within the comet's frozen body. No, they weren't amino acids. And they weren't signs of life. But they were chemically rich molecules, the building blocks that, under the right conditions, could lead toward life. And here's the incredible part. These compounds have likely been preserved, untouched, for millions, maybe billions, of years, frozen solid in the vacuum of interstellar space. A chemistry time capsule. Fourth, its size. Estimates based on light curves and reflectivity put the nucleus somewhere between 440 meters and 5.6 kilometers across. That's big enough to carry complex chemistry, but still small enough to remain hidden inside its coma most of the time. We can't see the nucleus directly, but we know it's there. And fifth, the dust behavior. This comet doesn't behave like the ones we're used to. Early in its approach, dust was blown toward the sun, opposite to what you'd expect. Then, over time, radiation pressure pushed it back again, forming the tail we eventually observed. That sequence isn't typical. It suggests differences in the grain size, structure, or even chemical composition of the dust itself. Now, just as important as what we did learn, is what we didn't. 3I Atlas is not a spacecraft. No engines. No propulsion. No signals. No artificial movement. It does not contain life. There were no amino acids, no metabolic patterns, no biological structures. Organic molecules do not equal living organisms. It is not dangerous. At its closest point, it was still over 170 million miles from Earth. That's farther than the distance from the Earth to the Sun. No threat. Zero risk. And it's not doing anything weird. Everything we've seen, outgassing, brightening, forming a coma and tail, it all lines up perfectly with known comet physics. And no, NASA didn't cover anything up. The silence wasn't a conspiracy. It was a government shutdown. Bureaucracy, not aliens. As for Avi Loeb's theory, the scientific community has respectfully reviewed it, and most experts strongly disagree, based on the available evidence. So why does this still matter? Because 3I Atlas proves something profound. Interstellar space isn't empty. It's a highway. A flow of matter moving between star systems, ice, rock, dust, and yes, organic compounds. And if matter can move, then so can information. Chemical recipes. The ingredients of life. Maybe someday, even life itself. We haven't found aliens. But what we have found is proof that star systems can share material. They can communicate in a cosmic language written in atoms and light. 3I Atlas wasn't the first object to enter our solar system from deep space. But it might be the most revealing. Let's go back. In 2017, the first known interstellar visitor was spotted. Its name was Oumuamua. And Oumuamua was weird. It was long and narrow, cigar-shaped. It tumbled through space. And it accelerated slightly in ways that didn't quite match normal comet behavior. Harvard's Avi Loeb famously suggested it could be a light sail, maybe alien tech. Most scientists disagreed. They think it was just a very strange asteroid. But the truth? We'll never know for sure. We found it too late, after it had already passed the sun and was heading back out into the void. We only had a few weeks to observe. Then came 2I/Borisov, discovered in 2019. And Borisov? It was boring, in the best possible way. It looked like a normal comet. It behaved like a normal comet. It had a tail, a coma, and a chemical signature similar to solar system comets. That was a breakthrough on its own. It proved that other star systems can produce objects very much like our own. And now 3I Atlas. The sweet spot. Weird enough to be fascinating. Familiar enough to study. And this time, we were ready. 20 spacecraft. Months of continuous observations. Terabytes of data. This is the interstellar visitor we understand best. So, how many more are out there? Astronomers estimate there are trillions of interstellar objects drifting through the Milky Way right now. Every star system ejects billions of small bodies over time, as planets migrate or nearby stars disturb their outer regions. And yet, we've only detected 3 in the past 8 years. Why? Because they're tiny, they're dark, and they're fast. We only see the ones that pass close enough. But that's about to change. The Vera C. Rubin Observatory comes online soon, with a powerful sky survey that could detect dozens, maybe even hundreds, of interstellar objects every year. The era of interstellar archaeology? It's just beginning. Now we have to talk about the elephant in the room, panspermia. Panspermia is the hypothesis that life, or at least the building blocks of life, can travel between planets or even between star systems. Not inside spaceships, but inside rocks and ice. Kicked out of one system by an asteroid impact or a gravitational nudge, and sent drifting through space. 3I Atlas doesn't prove panspermia. It didn't carry life. But it does support the idea that panspermia is plausible. Here's why. First, it shows that organic molecules can survive the journey. Locked inside a thick shell of ice, shielded from radiation by the outer layers of a comet, complex carbon compounds can remain intact for millions of years, even in the coldest, most hostile parts of deep space. Second, it proves that material from other star systems can reach us. 3I Atlas traveled across interstellar space and arrived here. If it could do it, others could too. And some of them may have struck Earth long ago. Third, we know that some microbes can survive extreme conditions. Tardigrades can live in the vacuum of space. Certain bacteria can survive intense radiation. If a comet like 3I Atlas had carried microbes, not just molecules, and if it landed gently enough on a young planet, then what? We don't know. But we do know this: 3I Atlas didn't carry proof of life. Panspermia remains a hypothesis. A fascinating one. A testable one. But not yet a confirmed one. Still, this comet expands the space of possibilities. It doesn't answer the question, where does life come from? But it widens the kinds of answers we're allowed to consider. And now, a final thought. Imagine Earth, 4 billion years ago, still molten in places, bombarded by comets and asteroids. Some of those comets may have been interstellar, just like 3I Atlas. If they brought organic molecules from a different star system, and those molecules ended up in our oceans, blending with Earth's early chemistry, then maybe, just maybe, the story of life on Earth is a hybrid. Part local, part interstellar. We may never know for sure. But 3I Atlas reminds us that Earth has never been isolated. That we are part of a galaxy where matter, energy, and maybe even life can move from one system to another. In a very real sense, we are children of the stars. And 3I Atlas just made that feel a little more literal. Alright, let's talk about it. Why did so many people think 3I Atlas was an alien spacecraft? Honestly, it was the perfect storm. First, timing. The government shutdown happened right as 3I Atlas was reaching perihelion, the moment it was closest to the sun and most active. And just as curiosity peaked, NASA went silent. For 43 days, there were no updates. And when there's no information, speculation fills the void. Second, history. The memory of Oumuamua was still fresh. The weird object from 2017. Avi Loeb's best-selling book, Extraterrestrial, had primed millions of people to associate interstellar visitors with alien technology. Third, celebrity amplification. Elon Musk brought it up on a podcast. Kim Kardashian posted about it on social media. And when celebrities mention aliens and NASA in the same breath, the algorithm takes over, boosting the message to millions. Suddenly, a fringe idea feels legit. Fourth, clickbait. Let's be honest. Some YouTube channels, podcasts, and social pages leaned hard into exaggerated claims. Titles like, "First Undeniable Proof of Alien Life," or "NASA Hides the Truth," spread fast. Why? Because they tap into something powerful, our desire to believe we're not alone. Now about Avi Loeb. We have to address this fairly. He's not some fringe theorist. He's a Harvard astrophysicist. An accomplished, respected scientist. He published a paper suggesting that 3I Atlas might be disguised, possibly hostile alien technology. The scientific community? Largely skeptical. The media? Explosive. But here's the nuance. Loeb didn't say, "It is aliens." He said, "We should consider the possibility." And in principle, he's right. Science should stay open-minded. But, and this matters, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And so far, every piece of evidence we have fits natural comet behavior perfectly. That's why most scientists believe Loeb's conclusions drift from healthy skepticism into something called motivated reasoning, when you start seeing what you want to see. So what's the lesson here? 1. a lack of information is not proof of a cover-up. NASA's silence was about paperwork, not secrecy. 2. Celebrity opinions are not scientific conclusions. Elon Musk is brilliant, but he's not an astronomer. 3. Keep your mind open, but not so open your brain falls out. Yes, aliens could exist. But when does the simple explanation fit perfectly? Start there. And 4. Real science is already amazing. 3i Atlas may not be a spaceship, but it's a frozen time capsule from a dead star system. That doesn't need aliens to be cool. So where is 3i Atlas now? And where is it going? As of December 2025, the comet is about 170 million miles from Earth, speeding away from the Sun. It's already past its closest point, perihelion. It's already past Mars. Now, it's heading into the cold, dark edges of the solar system. By spring of 2026, it'll cross Jupiter's orbit, though it won't come close to Jupiter itself. There's a small chance that missions like Juno or even New Horizons might catch a glimpse if the geometry lines up. After that, it'll start fading fast. By 2027, it'll be too dim for most telescopes on Earth to see. Only something like the James Webb Space Telescope might be able to track it a bit longer. Eventually, it will disappear, vanishing into interstellar space, traveling at over 137,000 miles per hour. A frozen relic from a lost star system, carrying secrets we may never fully uncover. In millions of years, it might drift into another star system. And if someone's watching there, if there are astronomers on a distant alien world, they might study it and wonder, where did this come from? Cosmic irony. But we won't have to wait millions of years for the next visitor. Thanks to the upcoming Vera C. Rubin Observatory, set to begin operation soon, we may detect dozens of interstellar objects every single year, each one with its own story to tell. Maybe a comet from a system where giant planets flung icy bodies into space. Maybe a rocky asteroid was ejected from a world shattered in a collision. Maybe, one day, something truly strange, strange enough to challenge our natural explanations. We're entering a new era. Interstellar comparative planetology, studying other solar systems by catching the debris they send our way. 3i Atlas isn't the end. It's the beginning. And as for the biggest question of all, are we alone? The search continues. The James Webb Telescope is studying alien atmospheres for signs of biology. SETI is listening for distant signals. Rovers on Mars are digging for traces of ancient microbes. And soon, the Europa Clipper will explore a moon of Jupiter that may hide a subsurface ocean. 3i Atlas didn't answer that question, but it reminded us that the universe is more connected, more alive, than we ever imagined. Information travels. Matter travels. And maybe, someday, life travels too. Until then, we keep watching the skies. Let me ask you something. Why do we care? Why did a tiny comet, hundreds of millions of miles away, capture the imagination of the entire internet? Why did Kim Kardashian tweet about it? Why was your feed full of 3i Atlas memes? Because deep down, it was never really about the comet. It was about us. Every time an interstellar visitor appears, it reminds us we're floating on a pale blue dot in a vast and ancient universe we barely understand. It touches something ancient inside us, a longing to be part of something bigger. We hope aliens exist, not just because we feel alone, though maybe we do, but because if they exist, then life has meaning. Then we're not just a random accident of chemistry. Then somewhere out there, someone else is looking at the stars, wondering the same thing. 3i Atlas didn't bring aliens, but it brought something almost as powerful, proof that the universe is full of mysteries, wonders we're only beginning to uncover. And maybe, just maybe, some kid out there is watching this video, or reading about 3i Atlas, or staring at the night sky tonight and thinking, I want to be a scientist. I want to study the stars. I want to be the one who finds life beyond Earth. And if this comet, this dusty traveler from another star, helps spark that dream, even in one person, then that's worth everything. Because they will be the ones to answer the questions we can only imagine today. Carl Sagan once said, "The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. 3i Atlas reminds us that maybe that's more literal than we thought. The ingredients of life travel between stars. That our story may be written in more than just Earth's history. It may stretch across light years. We are not just observers of the universe. We are part of it. And that is beautiful. Here's something cool. You don't have to be an astronomer to be part of this story. Right now, you can download NASA's Eyes on the Solar System at eyes.nasa.gov. It's free. You can track 3i Atlas in real time. See exactly where it is in the solar system today. Or head over to zooniverse.org, home to real citizen science projects. You can help classify space images, even assist researchers by analyzing comet data. No experience needed. Want to see a comet yourself? Apps like Stellarium or Sky Safari can help you locate 3i Atlas in the night sky. With a small telescope, it's still visible until spring of 2026. Follow missions like James Webb, Hubble, or Mars rovers. They're constantly posting updates. You can literally be part of discovery as it happens. And now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Do you believe in panspermia? Could life on Earth have come from somewhere out there? If you could send a message to the next interstellar visitor, what would you say? And the big one, are we alone? Why or why not? I'll be reading your comments. I'll reply to as many as I can. Let's have a real conversation. Because this isn't just about space. It's about all of us, and where we go next. So to sum it all up, 3i Atlas is the third interstellar visitor we've ever observed. It's not alien technology, but something just as powerful, a time capsule from an ancient star system. Its chemistry is different from anything we've seen, high in carbon dioxide, rich in nickel, laced with organic compounds preserved for millions of years in the deep freeze of space. 20 NASA spacecraft came together to track it. They captured unprecedented data. And the result? A beautiful, natural comet. No threat to Earth. No cover-up. But the implications? They're extraordinary. This isn't just about one comet. It's about a connected universe, where the building blocks of life travel between stars. Where panspermia isn't proven, but suddenly, it feels possible. Maybe we really are part of a galactic story far bigger than we've ever imagined. But the real story? It's what comes next. Over the next decade, we'll discover hundreds of interstellar objects. We'll study the atmospheres of distant exoplanets in breathtaking detail. We'll launch missions to Europa, Enceladus, and Titan. We may even find fossilized life on Mars. Each discovery brings us one step closer to answering the oldest question we've ever asked. Are we alone? And whether the answer is yes or no, both are equally mind-blowing. 3i Atlas is leaving now, disappearing into the void. But it leaves behind gifts, data, insights, and questions for the next generation to answer. And a reminder, the universe is not silent. It speaks to us through messengers like 3i Atlas, telling stories written in the language of chemistry and light. All we have to do is listen and keep looking up.